y'all. Today, another special edition of the show. Obviously, World Series edition, which is not something that I expected to be able to do this year. So it's pretty freaking cool. Today we have Lauren Amour from the Philadelphia area. She covers the Phils for Fan Nation. Inside the Phils, is that correct, Lauren?
Yeah, Inside the Phillies. Yeah.
How long have you been over there?
So I have been with Inside the Phillies for a little over a year. I've been there since the site launched last year.
Awesome.
And we've really built it up in the last year. I'm very proud of like all the work that we've done and all the work we've put into it because I feel like it's really paying off. So
I mean, oh my gosh. And you know, it's so cool about, Philly sports. Other people like from other, fan communities, they really, until I think this World Series is so important because it's first kind of like tangible time that you can really feel like the fans, the love that we all pour into, like, getting up in the morning and everybody knows what they're listening to at least on one of their songs right now. If you like Philly sports, you might have listened to it nonstop. I don't even have to name it, but it's like part of who we are.
Yeah. I know if you're talking about Dancing on My Own,
yes,
my top song in the last month.
Yes. I can just go to my streaming thing and it's like, play again. Yes, why not?
It had to grow on me a little bit when I first listened to it. I was like, I don't know about this. Obviously, I knew the original Dancing on My Own by Robin, but I didn't know the remix version. It had to grow on me, but I did. It has grown on me. I like it now.
I tweeted about it, like my journey on this is like obviously public, like a lot of stuff, and I was like, you know what? I think it was after the Braves series or during the Braves series. I think it was after we beat the Cards. I knew everybody was into the song. I was like, I'll give it a chance. And my buddy Alexa Ross, she sent me the Robin version. I'm like, because I didn't even know the Robin version, and I'm like, oh, I don't like that one. And then somebody was like, no, Alexa's wrong. It's this one. And so. It definitely grew on me, and now I'm like wearing out my wife, my son singing it.
Yeah, it's definitely catchy. I have caught myself singing it a lot.
Oh my gosh!
And it makes me think of the Phillies now. So, song association. I'm big on that. So
it's like dreams and nightmares now. We got to cash in on this one.
Yeah.
So maybe the Sixers will get a song in the spring or something if their song.
Maybe that's the key for them. They need a song that isn't it's Here Come the Sixers, right? That's the name of the song.
I mean, it's a great song, but I mean,
it's it's an old school type of song. Could use something a little bit more.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. So obviously last night there wasn't much dancing on my own unless people were doing it over their liquor or beers or whatever they might have. But what are your initial reactions from last night? How did it leave you feeling? How are you feeling now before the game?
So initial reaction, I obviously just felt very embarrassed. I mean, it's only the second no-hitter in World Series history. So right after, I felt kind of defeated. Obviously, my tweet about sleeping on the highway, that was kind of how I felt initially. But after sleeping on it, I still kind of felt the after effect this morning. But as the day has gone on, I've moved past it. And I'm all in on a win tonight. I really think that they put it behind them. They win tonight. And a combined no-hitter, I mean, I just don't think it should be even mentioned in the same breath as Don Larson's 1956 perfect game. So much, much different.
Tell the people what the controversy is here, because until last night, I knew that people they were kind of like baseball heads are like, nah, that's not really a thing. It was like kind of in passing because how often are you really talking a no? But could you explain for the listeners like what this controversy is?
So the biggest difference between a no-hitter and a combined no-hitter, I mean, one is done by one guy. He has faced the same lineup the whole game, and the lineup was not able to get anything off of him. I mean, usually, by the time a pitcher faces the lineup for the third time,
Yep.
they figured him out by now.
Yep.
They know what to look for and how they can get a hit off of him.
Yep.
Whereas with a combined no-hitter, I think it's a little bit less impressive to people because it's multiple pitchers and you can have a pitcher go, just one inning. And it's not the same as if, like when Roy Halladay pitched his no-hitter in the
Yep.
NLDS in 2010, it wouldn't have had the same effect to it if it was, this pitcher came in after him and this pitcher came in after him, and then
It's a team.
the
It's a team thing
yeah,
versus a individual
I think
athlete.
it's more impressive to baseball fans when it's just one guy that's able to accomplish it. And there was no way that Christian Javier would have been able to because his
No,
pitch count was too high.
it
Through
was.
six, yeah, I think it was 97 pitches through 6 innings. So yeah, he wouldn't have been able to do it. But still, I think it's a little different.
Okay.
And it's also not the first no hitter he started this season. He
Hmm.
had one. He had one against the Yankees back in June. So a combined no hitter. So
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, he's been really great this year. I mean, I'm not taking the accomplishment away from him, but combined no hitter is a little bit different.
How you feeling about Verlander on the bump tonight?
I mean, we saw initially we didn't see him well the first few innings in game one, but I mean, we
Yeah,
were able to come back and tie the game up in game one when he started, and he also just historically is not good in World Series games. I don't feel. I know some people think he's going to be better this time around, but I don't see that.
neither. Me either.
I think it's going to be fairly similar to his game one start. I don't see it. I don't see him throwing a gem. I could see him
Yep.
throwing something like maybe how Nola's outing was last night. Honestly, I could see that type of outing from him tonight.
Nola, I'm kind of feeling like how I started feeling about Cole Hamels, like when Cole Hamels went through his rough patch, and I think like 2009 after we had already won the World Series, and then Cole just started like not looking like a. I mean, the discussion of ace. Ace is, you know what an ace when you see one, and right now,
Yeah,
to
I
be
think
fair,
the term's used a little bit too loosely now. And it's always been a debate with Aaron Nola whether or not he is. I mean, I would never take away from him the incredible season he had. I
that's
mean,
right.
we wouldn't be here without him, but
That's
I
right.
at the same time understand the argument of, his last 3 outings were not good.
No,
Yeah, his outing in the NLCS against the Padres and then 2 this World Series, they were not good at all. So I completely understand why people are frustrated with him. But I am willing to think about you know, the fact that he bounced back from his bad season last year, that was able to help them get to this spot. So I see the good and the bad of it.
I in the hierarchy of like all the starting pitchers in this series, he's ahead of like McCullers. He's ahead of Syndergaard, of course, and Bailey. I mean, Bailey. I don't know if we'll see Bailey this anymore. This
I
postseason.
think I think he missed out on the World Series roster actually. So
Oh, he did. Bailey's
he's
done,
not a possibility, yeah.
but Kyle Gibson made it.
I know, and he pitched a scoreless inning the other day. Who would have
And
thought?
another one, Nick. Gosh, the name is escaping me, but he pitched in game
Nick
3.
Nelson?
Nick Nelson, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was solid too. Belotti's been good. So
Yeah,
fascinating.
Bellotti is probably one of the biggest surprises of this season in general. He was just an invitation and then ends up, having a decent season, out of the bullpen for the Phillies. I mean, he was kind of a huge addition.
That's right.
Surprisingly, yeah.
So are you buying into after the game, of course, the combined no. Kyle Schwarber was asked how he felt about it, and he said, I don't give a blank. And he said it. Do you think that he really meant it, one? And two, if he did mean it, how much do you think that the guys in the locker room are, are most of them agreeing in the same boat with him?
I think he meant it and also didn't. I know that they have to be affected by it. I mean, of course, when the they're being asked questions by the media, they're gonna say, "We don't care, we just move on to the next day." But I mean, they're human, they have to care a little bit, especially performing that poorly in front of their home crowd. I know it has to affect them. So I think Schwarber did mean it, but I mean, I liked his attitude.
Yeah, me too. I
He's
loved it.
yeah, he's
Whether he
basically
meant it or
saying
not, that was the right
yeah.
quote.
It was a good quote from him, and he's basically saying like, "Cool, your no hitter doesn't mean anything to me, and the series is still tied. We
That's right.
still have a chance to win this, and then your no hitter will just be a little tidbit in history." Um, but yeah, I do think they have to temper their emotions a little bit when speaking to the media, so we don't always know like the full story. Um, and most of the quotes were similar to Schwarber's, maybe
Mhm.
not using like
Yes.
uh, the word, but I know Bryce Harper he said something like, like that can't happen or something
That's
along
right.
those lines. And that's not surprising to me because Harper, you can tell how passionate he is uh, when he's playing and even when he's just in the dugout. I had a friend that doesn't really watch baseball, and she watched the game last night and texted me, and she was like, Bryce Harper looks like he could kill someone right now. I would not want to make him mad or be on his bad side. And I was like, yeah. But it made me laugh because I'm like, yeah, he's an intense player. So
And that could, all of that, what happened last night could really lead to what we may see a big evening from Harper or others. I mean, and it's so 2022 Phillies. Like if it, I'm not, it wouldn't shock me at all if you fast forward and said, you know, we win the World Series, but it has to include in the footnote that this team got no hit during the World Series. I mean,
yeah,
it just fits the whole season.
I saw a tweet today that was like, it's almost like their whole season condensed into one series, and it's so true. It's so Phillies to get you hit 5 home runs, the most in a World Series game, the night before, and then you get no hit. I mean, it's just so quintessentially Philadelphia Phillies. I don't know how it can get much better than that.
And it would make us love this team even more. Like as Philly people, we would love to have like gotten up off the mat and to win this series. It's just people were pissed last night and are probably still really pissed right now and really anxious. But in the end, if it gets to the right destination, they all count as one win. So
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's really, like, their attitude with it, following it. There's nothing else. I mean, if it was, like, an elimination game and they got no hit, then yeah, that would have been painful, very, very painful, and I expect them to have very intense emotions about that, but
oh my
in the
god.
end, it was game 4, and the series is still tied 2-2.
And it was kind of unrealistic to think that for an entire postseason run that you would go undefeated at home. I mean, that we have a great home field atmosphere, but that's just kind of unreal to go
The
undefeated.
2008 Phillies did it. They
Yeah.
went undefeated at home, and to be fair, I up until last night, I really did think they could do it. It was hard to picture them losing at home, but yeah, they lost at home, all right, and they really,
And the
they
'08
really
Phillies,
lost
the '08 Phillies didn't have to deal with a 5 game wild card round though. That's the only distinction I would
for
make.
the 3-game wild card run. Yeah, yeah,
Because they won.
yeah.
Well, yeah, it would have been 5, but yeah, they played 3 or they played 3. Yeah, that's right.
wild cards best of 3. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so
I don't even think was that a thing then? I don't even think that was a thing then.
no.
Yeah.
And they won the East that year. I know they had
Yes,
wild
they
cards,
did. Yeah.
but they won the East in 2008 because that's part of the whole thing. But
Yeah, 5 in a row, 5 NL East titles in a row. But
so
and I
who leads
mean,
the way? Oh, go ahead.
the Astros are just. I mean, I never expected this series to be easy. I didn't expect them to get no hit. I don't think anyone did. But I also did not ever think this series was going to be easy. The Astros are a really, really good team. Definitely can't take that away from them. Obviously, I know they're wrapped up in that cheating scandal still, but I mean, I'm not going to take away the talent they have on that team because they really do have a talented team
That's right.
and incredible pitching.
That's
So,
right.
yeah.
They do. They do. You got to respect it. But it doesn't mean that they still can't lose, which,
Oh,
people are hoping
I
for.
I still think they will. It's always
Bills and
been
six.
it's always been Phillies in 6 for me.
Bills and six.
Yeah.
That's where I've been. And no kidding. Go back on the timeline. That's what I said. Bills and six.
Yeah, when we recorded, we have our podcast for Inside the Phillies, and we do our series predictions, and I said Phillies in 6 too at the beginning of the series. So,
it's an emotional series. You gotta say that for sure.
and it is because it's like you never expected them to get this far,
Yep.
but at the same time, if they lose, I'll be crushed.
Yes.
Like I'm
And
so proud of that they got here, but
I don't want to. I don't want like. I know that I will. I'll get there and be like, yeah, I'm so proud of them that they even made it there. But I don't want to be there. I want to be going down damn Broad Street.
oh, me too. I actually didn't. I was not at the 2008 World Series parade, so I
Me either.
really, oh, another. I always feel like everyone was there except me. Um, and I actually wasn't able to go to the Eagles Super Bowl parade either. So I'm like, please,
I
I need to
need
go to a
one.
parade.
I know. I need it. I need it. Who leads the way? 2-2. Who leads the way for the Phils tonight? Game 5.
Like you said earlier, I really think it's going to be Bryce Harper. I think he's pissed off about last
Mhm.
night, and a pissed off Bryce Harper is a good Bryce Harper. I think he's going to deliver tonight. I think he knows that the team needs to win this game. His whole mantra this whole postseason has been, we ain't losing, and I think he's really going to drive that point home tonight with the rest of the team and also just with his performance. I also see Kyle Schwarber. I see a Schwarbomb tonight.
Ooh.
I think he needs to back up his comments from last night.
He does.
Saying that he basically doesn't give a crap about it. He needs to back that up by showing up in a big way.
And Kyle, you won't have time to listen to this, of course. But I would love to see. I mean, I know we all love the Schwarber, like air and water, but I would love to see Schwarber. I think he could beat out a bunt in like a tough situation. They would
Yeah.
never expect it, and he moves when he wants to.
I mean, look at him stealing bases out here.
Yes,
Got
just
everyone
laid out a
free
bunt.
tacos. Yeah. I think they're going to be doing that a lot. Anything to get on base. They're going to be playing scrappy, I think.
Philly Rob, Philly. So how many innings out of Syndergaard? We're gonna need Syndergaard to hold him, but how long do you think he'll be able to do that?
So, I think he'll go like 3 innings. I think Thompson said that was their hope for him. I was at game 4 of the NLDS and he started that game, and how he was that game, I think he went 3 innings, he allowed 1 run. It was a solo home run. I mean, if they get that out of him, that would be fine.
That would be
Especially if
great.
especially if the offense shows up, and
Yes.
yeah, I mean, I'm not terribly worried about him. I know I've seen some people sort of chalk this up to a loss already. I don't feel that
That's
way.
ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, this is on paper the kind of game the Phillies win.
Yes.
A bullpen game started by Noah Syndergaard. So, um,
What about
but yeah,
Ranger? How long we got Ranger out there tonight? Do we get him at all?
that would be interesting. I do think I think they save him for a potential game 7. If he does show up tonight, I'm thinking maybe an inning at the most. Because I mean they have to have someone out there for a game 7, and Ranger does extremely well under pressure.
Yes.
So I think that is the guy they'd want out there for that scenario.
I hope what they do is just over the next 3 games, as needed, Ranger is available every night, and if
Yeah,
we
I
do
think
get to the
everyone
game
will be
seven,
available, yeah.
if we do get to the game seven, then let's get a long extended bullpen out of Ranger. Let's get two, throw Wheels, throw Noah, throw everybody.
Yeah, we definitely could see Nola in a game 7. Wheeler, we've discussed this, with, Inside the Phillies talked about it a little bit too, like, we're speculative about what's going on with Wheeler,
Yeah,
like,
of course.
I think it's definitely worse maybe than they're letting on. I don't know for sure, but
It's gotta be. The guy has
yeah,
he has
because
way more
otherwise
velocity.
they might have started him tonight if that wasn't the case, but they're gonna have him go for game 6,
Mm.
and we'll see how he does, but I don't know, it couldn't be a worse time for this to happen, but
Talking about potential game sevens, do you think the Phils, if they get to it, will be able to hit Javier in a game 7?
so I don't think they'll get no hit again at least, now they are
Now that would be
familiar.
demoralizing to be at
Oh,
no hit
yeah.
by the same guy, and including a games. Oh my god, I'd die.
Actually, I'm not sure if that's ever happened in baseball history, getting no hit by the same guy. I'll have to look that up after this. But they're more familiar with his stuff now, having faced him. They were not familiar with him at all. Pretty much the majority of the Phillies lineup wasn't, besides Brandon Marsh,
Mhm.
when he was on the Angels. Um, so I like their chances against him a second time. I think they'll perform better. But I also just don't like their chances in general in a game 7.
Okay, gotta be 6.
I Yeah, I would much, much rather have it go to 6 for their sake and also my sake because I will not be able to handle a game 7. But, um, I just know when I remember watching game 7 in 2016 between the Cubs and the Guardians, and
Yep.
I was freaking out, and that
Yeah.
wasn't even the teams that I am emotionally invested in. So,
True.
um, so I if they have to face him a second time, I do think they'll do better, but also not exceptionally well because Javier is a great pitcher. We witnessed that last night. So, yeah, I I think that they'll do better, but not
Okay.
great.
So let's stay away from a game 7 if possible.
Yeah, that's the goal.
So gotta win the first 2 out of 3. So to do that, I mean, who's gonna lead the team in RBIs through the rest of this run?
I kind of have a hot take, and I'm gonna say Brandon Marsh.
Woo! That is a hot take. Wow.
I
Wow.
I don't know. I think he's gonna come through. He's come through defensively for sure.
Oh yeah.
Having a competent center fielder again is just so nice.
He
He's able
is.
to cover so much ground out there. He makes catches that would have been difficult for our previous center fielders look so easy, and I'm appreciating it. I hope he knows I'm appreciating it. But I think I kind of see him, his home run the other day, and then I know he had a double earlier in the series. I think he's going to do well the next 2 or 3 games.
That would be awesome. Wow. Brandon
Well,
Marsh.
they need I think someone from the bottom of the lineup, it will step up. They need the bottom of the lineup to come alive again because Segura has gone quiet, Stott's gone quiet. They need those guys to come alive again.
I think Segura, for the first time this postseason, I feel like when I'm watching Segura, he's pressing. He always looks so cool. NLDS, NLCS, he looked like he was just like, I'm so happy to be here. And I think he's kind of, hard to tell somebody who's sitting on their couch to watch the game tonight to say, cool out, just enjoy the moment. But
Yeah,
but you can tell he's pressing, and he's so like his jaw is clenched and all that. So Gene,
yeah,
chill, man. Just enjoy the ride. You got the stuff. He's the best contact hitter on the team, I think.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's why, I think if he is able to get going in these last few games and Stott, Marsh, those guys get going, I think they have a great chance of doing a thing.
Doing a thing. That's right. Well, Lauren, thank you so much for coming on. It was great talking ball with you. Everybody, is anxious. It's a little content, a little interim content until till a thing that could happen next week. So thank you so much for coming on. Tell the people where we can follow along. Anything you're working on right now.
So, Inside the Phillies online, and then we have our Twitter account is at InsidePhilsFN on Twitter. And we also have a Substack newsletter called Phillies Focus that I produce. And we have the Inside the Phillies podcast as well. So you can find us on a lot of different places.
Check it out. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I'll see y'all soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Go Phils.
For sure. Go Phils.